These headline stories will come to you in a moment, along with this week's topics. Almost about everything you wanted to know about Zulu time. What really happened to the WJLX tower? What new bill has been introduced in the House? We will visit the ARRL Hamfest schedule and talk about Hamcation. And that's all straight ahead as we come to air. Hello and welcome to the Ham Radio Guy podcast. I'm Marvin and my call sign is W0MET. Whether you're an experienced ham or just getting started, this podcast is for you. We're bringing you the latest of topics, news, and information in all things amateur radio right here to this show. This is episode number 31. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Well, as we proceed in here, one of the things I've always talked about, a segment feature or something to highlight or product that I've been working on for a while. And one of the things I wanted to touch on this week was a Olight Baton 4 rechargeable EDC flashlight. You can find the link in the Amazon show notes. And I've used several of these in my ham radio applications. These are great pocket lights. They're light, easily rechargeable. They're very bright and easy to pocket carry for those moments when you need a flashlight quickly. And it has a pocket clip for even quicker access. So check out your Olight today, and I've got you a link in the show notes. You can also find it over on my new Patreon page. I will have a link to published show notes over there. And I will have that available for you as well to find. I'll share that on Twitter, things like that. Newsletters coming out, doing great with the newsletter. Got a lot of subscribers to that. And what I've found is that, my open rate is anywhere between 40 and 50%. So I want to say thank you for taking time to read that and to be able to review it and look at it. And click the links in there and find the deals that you can find. And, really take time to explore the things I've been talking about in there. And, it's usually a pretty quick read. So you can probably go through it in just a couple minutes and look at it. But I want to say thank you there. I was able to finally find one more thing for the trailer. And that was a inverter that I was able to plug in and get that connected so I can run DC power coming off the generator now. So that's a very slow project. It's cold. It's been hard to work outside. And I think I mentioned in one of my earlier podcasts back in January, the basement project for my new ham studio is still coming to fruition. It's getting there. We are down to the painting process right now, and new flooring will go in as of air date here, February 19th. A week from today, the new flooring will go in, and I will move in next weekend and get everything set up. So looking very forward to that, and it should be very exciting as we, recovering from a little bit of that flooding that happened just 5 days after moving into the new house here in Massachusetts. So that is where we're at with all that. So that's been occupying a lot of my time. It's been a lot of work to be able to get that done on my own. I had a few vendors come in contractors come in to do some electrical work and a little bit of the mudding and taping. I just didn't have the time for it all. And then I'm just not great with electrical or the plumbing side of things, but, we've got it, moving along and that's I'm pretty much a little behind the schedule. I wanted to be more done maybe by the, early to mid-February here, but, it'll be, the beginning of March roughly. But you know what? We're getting it done and getting it done right. Well, something I've been highlighting a little bit on Twitter and talking about, and this is the new vendor highlight. Introducing Dakota Lithium, your ultimate outdoor power solution. The Ham Radio podcast is now powered by Dakota Lithium. And I've been checking out those batteries a little bit, playing with them, and find them to be very reliable and really lightweight, which is great. So, if you're tired of unreliable batteries that just can't keep up with your outdoor adventures, look no further than Dakota Lithium, the go-to choice for outdoor enthusiasts everywhere. They are used by golf carts. They're used by fishermen. A lot of major people like that will use Dakota Lithium as their power-packed performance battery. And the lithium iron phosphate batteries boast a high energy density and long life cycle life, ensuring you have the power you need wherever you need it. Whether you're camping, fishing, hunting, or powering off-grid, Dakota Lithium has you covered. They're built tough for the great outdoors, and their batteries are designed to withstand the toughest conditions from extreme temperatures to rough terrain. Rugged, lightweight, and compact, they're perfect for every companion for any adventure. With a range of sizes and capabilities, Dakota Lithium offers options for every need. From powering small devices to large energy storage systems, don't settle for less when it comes to outdoor power. Choose Dakota Lithium and experience the difference firsthand. Join the ranks of satisfied outdoor enthusiasts, professionals who trust Dakota Lithium for unmatched performance, durability, reliability, and upgrade your power game today with their amazing 11-year warranty. So check them out. You can find a link for a 10% discount on my show notes. And again, you can find them over at my Patreon page. It's a public site, but feel free to subscribe as well. And you can find the membership right there. Well, as we move on, here are the stories for release around the world as we come to air with edition number 31. General Manager Brett Elmore insists it was stolen, but online skeptics raise doubts. Despite national and international media attention, including from outlets like USA Today and The Guardian, snarky comments and engineering experts question the plausibility of the story. Some suggest neglect and a need for a cover story. YouTuber William Collier's video challenges the theft claim, showing the neglect of the site. Elmore denies involvement and points to utility records, but questions persist. The tower's disappearance leaves WJLX off the air, impacting its small market. With no insurance, Elmore turns to GoFundMe for rebuilding. Despite efforts to restore the station, doubts linger and police investigation continues. The station's fate hangs in the balance as the community awaits answers. And our only other news story, because we have a longer segment this week, talking about Zulu time. Our second news story here this week is U.S. Senators Roger Wicker, Republican from Mississippi, and Richard Blumenthal, a Democrat from Connecticut, have introduced the Amateur Radio Emergency Preparedness Act of 2024, aimed at granting amateur radio operators the right to install antennas despite homeowners association restrictions. These rules often hinder vital emergency communications, crucial during natural disasters like hurricanes. Senator Wickers emphasizes the importance of reliable communication in emergencies, stating that access can be a matter of life and death. Senator Blumenthal echoes this sentiment, highlighting the essential role ham radio enthusiasts play in providing life-saving information during crisis. The legislation seeks to clarify and limit homeowner association bans on antennas, ensuring radio operators can function effectively. Endorsed by the Amateur Radio Relay League, this bill aims to remove unnecessary barriers and safeguard emergency communication capabilities for communities nationwide. All this is Amateur Radio News with the release date of February 19th, 2024. Well, I hope that that bill will pass and that we will see something go through. They've had like the PRB1 and stuff in the past, and so we'll see how that works overall. Well, let's really get into the nuts and bolts of the story here, of this week's segment. And what is Zulu time, and how does it relate to ham radio? Zulu time is military name for Universal Coordinated Time, or UTC, and it is a time is fixed at the prime meridian of 0 degrees longitude. Now, this is the reason for other names. You can have zero time, and some people refer to like Z time. before Zulu, but it was known as Greenwich Mean Time, or also GMT, so you might see it as that as well. And Greenwich Mean Time, Zulu, or UTC, military 24-hour, whatever you call it, is the world's time across the board. There's no time zones, no seasonal changes. It's just time. And for ham radio provides a common time needed for accurate QSO log keeping and a manner of speaking with all amateur radio operators, regardless of their location. We're using the same clock. And a lot of logging programs will use that, and we'll get into logging in just a few minutes. But, even as winter field day, we start our clock, and I think summer field day does the same thing. We'll say it's based on 1900 Zulu time. So we use that quite often in other aspects as well, besides just our logging programs or referring to it. And why is it called Zulu time? Since Great Britain's was the world's greatest maritime power when the concept of latitude and longitude was developed, the starting point for designated longitude became the prime meridian, 0 degrees. It intersects with the Royal Greenwich Observatory in Greenwich, England, hence the Greenwich Mean Time. It was built by King Charles II in 1675. It was a major center dedicated to navigation, astronomy, and timekeeping. Zulu time is used quite often still today, I believe, by the military, pilots, mariners, and obviously ham radio. The purpose is a standardization of time, and you can sync watches, ships and airplanes across multiple time zone in one journey. It can become more important than to standardize the time across the globe for people. Sometimes for meetings, it works out great in that regards as well. If you want to know what time you're going to do that meeting, you can do it in Zulu time and not have to worry about offsetting. Well, are they 8 hours ahead of me or are they 8 hours behind me? And so it's something to think about there. The term Zulu comes from the shortening of zero meridian. And so for a while it was even called zebra time. But the term Zulu was first used by the Royal Navy in the 19th century, kind of confirming with the military phonetic alphabet. So Zulu works. Now, how do you calculate Zulu time? The main thing to know about Zulu is that it's always the same no matter where you're at in the world. Here's how to figure it out on your own personal time of what the Zulu time would be based on your location. And the beauty of it is you don't have to wonder which time zone you're in, or is being referred to when you see the time. There's no AM or PM. It usually does work in like a military format, though. You can, pronunciate it as just 09450 or 945 Zulu. And so, or you could just do 945 hours. The Z indicates that it would be in a Zulu format. You'd have to put a Z after the time. So if you had 9:45 in the morning, it would be 0945Z. And that would not mean it's a local time, because otherwise it might be like CST for Central Standard Time or Pacific Standard Time, PST. You're putting the Z behind it. That would indicate people would know that is in Zulu time then. So figuring out what time it is versus your local time does take getting some used to. But there's lots of apps and calculators out there on the web to help you find out, what those things are. Not to mention ham logging software will automatically do it for you. Now, I have an application on my phone, actually a widget I've created on my iPhone that will I can scroll up to and look at and know that it's, whatever time of Zulu it is from where I'm at the time I'm looking at my watch or the app on the phone. And I'll use that, quite often for looking at things or making a reference going, all right, hey, it's 1 o'clock. What time is it Zulu? So I can just sometimes even know, hey, I'm 6 hours ahead, whatever it is. And so But there's lots of calculators and things out there. You can help you find that and figure that out. You can look it online. So definitely ways to look it up. Now, logging in Zulu or UTC is highly recommended because when you are speaking with somebody like maybe overseas doing a DX contact, or if you're looking at maybe a logging book and someone's in Eastern time versus Pacific time, using UTC eliminates the confusion over time zones or daylight savings time. Sure, you can calculate on your own, but why not let a computer logging program do it for you and just handle that chore? It keeps the UTC date and time straight automatically. You don't have to remember, hey, it's still maybe February 19th here, but it's already February 20th on UTC. And so, it gets to be, later in the evening, that time zone changes long before your maybe time does. And, of course, if you're free to use the local time, as long as you, indicate, clearly in the log, it's a local time and not, a Zulu time. But I would avoid mixing any UTC and local time and dates together in the log. Becomes very confusing at that point. And, of course, one of my favorite Windows logging softwares, N3FJP logging software, reads the UTC time directly from your Windows operating system. So you can set your operating system whatever you want time, and N3FJP will read that from your computer and automatically make that calculation for UTC. So I guess it's important that your time zone is also accurate in your computer when you do that. So I would make sure you have that set correctly for your OS, your Windows operating system there, to make sure you're logging correctly. Now, here are some fun facts about Zulu time. You know what? I missed a point here somewhere, and I realized that if I can find that note real quick here. I should have that handy. I was going to go back and tell you how to convert your time for Zulu. And to convert your time to the 24-hour format, like the military uses, for example, it's 2 p.m., add 12 hours, and you would get 1,400. So that would be, 1,400 hours military time for that 24-hour format. But if you want to adjust the time difference offset where you're at versus the Zulu time, so for me, I'll use the example if I live in Eastern time zone, which I do, I'll add 4 hours because the Eastern time zone is 4 hours behind Greenwich Mean Time. So 0400, so adding 4 hours to my 1,400 hours, which is military time format, would then make the Zulu time 1,800 hours Zulu. So just add 4 hours to whatever time you have. So if it's 9 a.m., then add 4 hours and make it 1 p.m. Zulu. So for another example. So actually make it 1,300 Zulu. My apologies. So that is, gotta remember, it does keep it in a Zulu time, does run in that 24-hour military format time. But what I started going to a minute ago, so that hopefully it helps you convert that. And so again, take those hours for your time zone offset and add that to the military time it is, and that will get you your Zulu hours. Here's some fun facts about Zulu time, something I wanted to share on here. And all this and more can be found on allbands.com. And this article was brought to you by Mark Haverstock, K8MSH. And that's where we're getting the information this week from on allbands.com. You can check out. So something I mentioned earlier, Zulu time does not change with the seasons, but local time may change with daylight savings time. For example, the local time on East Coast of the United States is 5 hours behind Zulu time during the winter, but only 4 hours during the daylight savings time. NOAA satellites use Zulu time, or UTC, as their time reference, and the satellite images that appear on NOAA's website are time-stamped in Zulu time. The Department of Navy serves as the United States official timekeeper. The Master Clock Facility at the U.S. Naval Observatory in Washington, D.C. The UTC is not a typo. When spoken, it's Universal Coordinated Time, but when written, it's UTC. The International Telecommunications Union, ITU, felt it was best to designate a single abbreviation for use in all languages in order to minimize confusion. Is it 2,400 hours or 0 hours? Military time uses both 2,400 and 0 hours to designate midnight. This may seem confusing at first, but it makes more sense when you think of 0 or 000, 4 zeros, as a start time, as 2,400 as an end time. You'd use 000 in reference to the beginning of an activity, but 2,400 to indicate when an activity will end, such as like basically it turns out like 11:59, it turns to 2,400. Imagine not receiving a QSL card from that very rare DX because you used the wrong conversion when you're going from your local time to UTC. Get a UTC clock; they're worth the investment. And Gigaparts has the new Intellitron one, pretty slick. Great little product there for sure. People usually think that time zones are determined by whole numbers. Some countries use half-hour and quarter-hour offsets. India lies in the time zone UTC plus 5.5, and South Australia and Northern Territory use UTC plus 9.5. That's really weird. Leap second is a 1 second adjustment that occasionally applied to the Zulu time and reconcile the time difference between the precise time and the imprecise observed solar time due to variations in the Earth's rotation. So there's just a few notes, kind of interesting facts about UTC and some information about what it is or how you use it. So if you're new to ham radio and you're not familiar with what Universal Coordinated Time is, or you need to know how to figure it and why you need to use it, there is some great information there. Again, you can find more information on allbands.com, and this story was written by Mark Haverstock, K8MSH. So thank you to him today for this news information and story information that I found, and hope that you'll go visit on All Bands for more information. Well, if you have any questions or have any comments, reach out to me at w0met@thehamradioguy.com, and be glad to write you back for all emails that I get, and hope that you will enjoy this news story and many more that we'll continue to bring to you this year with this here. Well, with that, let's go into a little bit of more information here. Looking for all things ham radio related? Visit the Ham Radio Guy website or thehamradio.com for informative content, product reviews, and exciting blog posts. Join the conversation on your favorite podcast platform. Stay up to date with the latest trends and news in the ham radio world. Connect with us on Twitter at the Ham Radio Guy for even more updates and engaging interactions. Don't miss out on the fun and knowledge sharing. Subscribe to the Ham Radio Guy today. And if you haven't, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit follow on your favorite podcast. And I want to say thank you again for listening and being able to catch up on some of these great episodes and, insights, tips, and details about each episode. Don't forget to check out the show notes right at the bottom of every podcast information you can find. You can find a direct link to all the latest deals and Amazon finds and get discounts at American Filament, County Comms. We'll have Ham Radio Prep coming and a new one called 12 Volt Power. So stand by for more information on that. So anyway, some great, amazing deals for you. Trying to give you a savings. And we'll also have ABR Industries, where I get all my cable from, made right here in the U.S. by a great company out of Houston, Texas. So stand by for more as deals come forward and finding a way to save you money and helping you out with your ham radio shack and getting you powered up. Well, check out the Hamfest schedule for local Hamfest page near you at my ARRL link. Again, in the show notes, March 1st and 2nd is the Greater Houston Hamfest, hosting the ARRL Western Gulf Division Convention in Rosenberg, Texas. The Academia DX Association Hamfest and Swap Meet. It will be hosting the ARRL Louisiana State Convention in Rayne, Louisiana. March 16th, 49th Annual Stewart Hamfest, hosting the ARRL Southern Florida Section Convention in Stewart, Florida. And March 16th, the St. Patrick's Day Hamfest, hosting the ARRL West Texas Section in Midland, Texas. Well, there's some Hamfest coming up near you. One of the other things I wanted to be able to highlight this week was talking about Hamcation. And it was a great year overall down there. Made some great contacts. Good to see some good friends and people again. And really enjoyed getting into, meeting with some of the vendors and talking about them. Of course, I've got several of those on my YouTube page that you can go out and visit. Look for Ham Radio Guy or W0MET on my YouTube, and you can see some of those great videos put out there. Even one talking with Gigaparts about their new Intellitron products. Only thing I can really find that, the prices of food at Hamcation, I think, are still pretty exorbitant. $18 for a burger and fries. It just blows my mind. But M&M Barbecue, it's Mike and Mike's. They do a great job and are a fairly reasonable price for considering what barbecue prices are. They're usually our go-to for some of the food down there at the Hamcation. You've got the 3 different buildings, and then really the swap meet building is the 4th one. And then, of course, I think the terms of tailgaters this year it seemed like it was up a little bit. There was quite a few that was out there. A lot of campers, a lot of people were there. Numbers, they think they were probably up for the year, but they haven't released that information yet. I'll be glad to share that out with you once I hear that information as well. But the only debacle was opening morning about 7 a.m. They couldn't get the gates open until like 7:25. And I don't know if it was just a bunch of old guys out there that were having issues or a power issue or whatever it might have been. They said they didn't have enough security there, but they had 5 guys in yellow jackets that seemed, had security written on them, or, highlighted yellow, orange jackets, whatever. So I'm not really sure what the debacle there was that morning, but they did get it finally open and got people going in the doors and got the traffic flowing. So that was good. But overall, I thought it was a good year, and I loved being there. I was glad to be there. And it was good to get away from home for a little bit and be able to spend some time again with friends and some new vendors and whatnot at Hamcation. So if you haven't gone, it's a great time to get away in February. The weather was beautiful and really, was gorgeous weather overall. So my next Hamvention I'll be at is in Dayton. I'll be there on Friday only, and won't be able to be there for Saturday. Got a graduation of a niece that need to be at, but we're looking forward to that one. Is my next show to be around and see friends and people again, and what new vendors might be at Hamvention this year in May. So hopefully we'll see you there, and we'll go from there. Well, if you enjoyed the podcast, we'd appreciate if you become a subscriber wherever you get your podcast. You can rate and review the show. Go out to Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or you can just go old school and tell friends and family, neighbors, hell, anybody you think you might want to hear a podcast that's getting interested in amateur radio or wants to know more. If you're on social media, be sure to follow us on Twitter and over at Patreon, thehamradioguy.com. And you can also listen to the YouTube version of the W0MET channel and watch some of the new videos coming out about different product reviews. I've got more coming out here in the next month or so. And I hope that you learned something as well this week that will help you in your ham radio operations. If you have questions, comments, please leave them on Twitter, podcast platform, or email me at w0met@thehamradioguy.com. As always, this is your ham radio buddy in the chair and on the air, the ham radio guy. I say 73, W0MET.